Hello and welcome to EPL Weekly. Today we are talking all things North London derby after a thrilling encounter between Arsenal and Spurs yesterday. I am, of course, talking about the obliteration of Tottenham by the mighty Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium yesterday. Alongside me, my usual cronies, Ros Mack and Mus Al Moss. Journalist and Spurs fan Simeon Wright will join us later to share his thoughts from a Tottenham perspective. I'm Joe Carter. This is EPL Weekly. Welcome along. Lads, what can I say? What is that noise coming from White Hart Lane? Nuno out! Nuno out! Can you hear it? Are they saying that yet? I don't know. There's a reason, isn't there, that Nuno was Spurs' 7th choice as manager. I think we saw it all play out yesterday, didn't we? What a farce Spurs are, Ros.
I'll be honest, I'm just enjoying being in the presence of two Arsenal fans after their one game a season where they think that they're going to win the league. It's great. It was last season when you won at Old Trafford. It's amazing how things can sort of change after one game. So I'm just going to be here to totally dampen your spirits.
Oh, right, you're here to just witness the downfall.
Not let yourselves get carried away.
Okay, Mus, what did you make of the game yesterday? Just out of, off the top of your head, quick one.
It was epic. It was the best first half of football I've seen Arsenal play in a long time.
I mean, for half an hour, we looked absolutely mustard, didn't we? I'd say we, I'm impartial in this position.
Of course you are.
Of course.
Here in Studio 2A, EPLW. After the game, Mikel Arteta said Arsenal were near perfect, Mus. What is it about this Arsenal 11 that he selected? We'll go through the 11 while you're thinking of your answer. And if that performance was near perfect, then what I want you to tell me is what would have made it perfect. Here's the 11. Ramsdale in goal, back four, Tierney, Gabriel, White and Tomiyasu, Xhaka and Partey in holding midfield, 3 behind Aubameyang, Smith Rowe, Odegaard and Saka. Yeah, so if that was near perfect, according to Mikel Arteta, what did it have to be perfect?
Well, the performance and result would have been perfection had we kept a clean sheet. So the only blotch, I guess, on the record was the Spurs goal. But the lineup had balance, and that's something that Arsenal have lacked for a long time. They had creativity, they had grit, solidity, but also just hard-working, honest players like Tomiyasu, like Partey, like Xhaka can be when he's on it.
Xhaka's a tough one for me. I don't know, but what do you make of Xhaka, Ros?
I think it's an accident waiting to happen. Always have. Talking of sort of, I think he had a lot of. There weren't too many risks kind of behind him. If you look at the attacking shape that Arsenal played, Tomiyasu is the kind of player that's come in most recently. And what's happened was that it just gives Arsenal that balance because when Tierney pushes up, he pushes beside Ben White. Ben White's, of course, much more used to playing in that kind of back 3, back 5 for Brighton.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave a sort of 3-2-5 shape at times. Spurs couldn't hack it. But I think what that did was it made Xhaka so much less exposed. And we all know how he can get hot-headed in a derby. And we all know that if he's kind of lunging at someone or he feels kind of out of control of the situation, then he can do something incredibly stupid. But I think having Partey quite close to him the whole time really helped him.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. Who stood out for you then, Mus? Who's your one to man of the match?
I was really impressed with Tomiyasu. I think it's hard to... Well, obviously you could pick Emil Smith Rowe, Saka, who both scored and had great games, but this was the first time I'd properly seen Tomiyasu kind of have an impact on the game. Gary Neville in co-coms on Sky noticed him as a former right back and kept pointing out all the good stuff he was doing, and having had that as a bit of a problem position for Arsenal over the last couple of seasons, it was refreshing to see a player that can defend but also can get up and support the attack and is good on the ball. Yeah.
After the game, Emil Smith Rowe tweeted, "Best day of my life," heart emoji, picture of him scoring in the North London derby, his boyhood club. Kieran Tierney, "I love this club." It's easy to get swept away as an Arsenal fan in this situation. We've been put through the ringer for a few years. Ros, you alluded to it slightly earlier. Is it a false dawn? Or is there something a bit different this time around?
I think it kind of links in with that lineup in that it's kind of the lineup that everyone's wanted to see. And on paper, Arsenal are an incredibly good side. On paper, Mikhail.
Well, on the pitch, they're an incredibly good side.
Yesterday, yeah, fine. But I mean, come on, you lost your first 3 games, didn't you?
To who?
What was it? City, Chelsea, and Brentford, newly promoted. Brentford.
Well, we've seen how strong Brentford are, but City, Chelsea, baptism of fire, new squad. Arteta said when he came in, people want immediate results and a long-term solution. You can't give them both. Is this a long-term solution coming to fruition, or as I say, false dawn? Which one?
That's the thing. It's an incredibly young side. Thomas Partey is probably the most experienced player out there. Do you know how much I rate Kieran Tierney? I think he's probably one of the best 3 left-backs in the division. But look me in the eye and tell me that Arsenal are going to finish. Okay, now
this is awkward.
I'll pose it to both of you. What's a good season for Arsenal? Because I don't think Arsenal fans are going to be happy with Europa League again.
Fourth place.
Now
is a good season for Arsenal.
Again, and tell me that there are going to be 4 teams that don't finish above Arsenal this season. You're telling me that you are going to finish in front of one of Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United with Cristiano Ronaldo, even Leicester,
Yeah.
City.
No, I think finishing in the top 4 would be a spectacular season for Arsenal. I think realistically, top 7 is kind of more on the cards, and that's just because we lack the consistency. So we can turn up in the big games, but the reality is...
would you want to finish 7th?
No, of course
8th?
not. No.
Would you rather not qualify for that stupid Europa Plate conference thing, or would you rather qualify for that as an Arsenal fan, as an Arsenal season ticket holder?
Well, that's the thing. This is kind of why we're between a rock and a hard place, really, because this is meant to be Arsenal season out of Europe, where we kind of cash in on not having to do that Thursday-Sunday thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I still can't see us pushing on. And
there's only one game a week to focus on now.
Yeah.
I think that plays into Arsenal's hands above all of those other teams we've mentioned. Does that not make a difference, Ros? Not having to play midweek, like the big 4, like Leicester, like Spurs.
I totally agree. I think that West Ham are gonna, as predicted, have a far less good season this year because of the Europa League. We saw Burnley get European football and make it a lot harder for themselves to stay up that season they were in it. But I just don't. It's funny when Arsenal don't get Europe for one season. And then they turn into the child who I didn't want it anyway. It's fine.
Well,
I don't.
No, to be honest with you, I wasn't a massive fan of the Europa League, being in the Europa League as an Arsenal fan anyway. Like, I think the competition's flawed. That's another discussion for another day. But so, in your eyes, you're saying false dawn then?
I'm saying false dawn because I don't see Arsenal fans being happy with where you're realistically going to finish, and all the. Right now, all the Arsenal fans are dancing and thinking they're going to get Champions League.
What would you take right now, Mus, Arsenal fan? What would you take right now in terms of a league finish?
Well, I think realistically, finishing 5th or 6th.
If I said to you now, Arsenal finished 5th this season, you're smiling already. You're smiling at me saying that.
Because I know that's not where the club should be, but I think realistically, that would be a good season.
What's a good season then? Ros, you asked us what's a good season for Arsenal. I'm asking you, what's a good season for Arsenal?
A good season for Mikel Arteta with his experience and the experience of the squad and the players they've got. I would say a very good season would be 5th. But there's a difference between that and the expectancy of an Arsenal fan base, and that's why I think it's a false dawn. Because the fan base are reacting like it's...
XF, as we like to call it here on EPLW. XG's expected goals. XF, expected fans.
Yeah.
Like so that. What's the league position? What's Arsenal's XF league position?
According to Pep Guardiola, lower than City's.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the goals then. So, what was your pick of the goals, Mus?
I think Emil Smith-Rowe's goal probably tops the bunch. It's kind of the archetypal Arteta goal, playing out from the back, playing through the lines, and then the link up between the 2 Arsenal academy graduates.
Saka and Smith-Rowe were unbelievable, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were absolutely unplayable. And like you said, at times the wing-backs was contributing to make that like a front 5 or 6, with Aubameyang up there as well. Very Dortmund-esque. It reminded me of watching Dortmund when they end up with 5 up top. Yeah. And it's just this like arrow of players streaming forward on a counter-attack. Yeah, so Smith Rowe's goal, beautiful. Aubameyang's, and so there was a similarity to a lot of the goals, and it was like Spurs didn't pick up on that avenue of attack from Arsenal. What was your pick of them, Roz?
I'd have to say the best one was the Smith Rowe one again. The worst one from a Spurs perspective, probably Saka's. He's just gets his shot blocked and then somehow still manages to be the first to the ball and knock it in anyway. It was everything that was sort of wrong with Spurs in those opening minutes. Aubameyang, best game I've seen him have for a long time, actually. All the link-up was done beautifully. He had a lovely goal as well.
Did you see what he was wearing on his feet?
No.
Aubameyang. He was wearing R9s.
Really?
I don't even remember R9s from, what was it, 98?
Yeah.
They're like purple and silver stripes with the yellow night tick on. Nice. He was wearing R9s. It was mad. I saw them. I was like, feel old. So, right, man of the match, Smith Rowe. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dick of the day?
Oh, could be one of...
We're going to talk about Spurs in a minute,
11.
so just briefly, give me a dick of the day, and then we'll get on to Spurs after.
Let's go with Dele Alli.
Daily Alley. Was that a paper? A newspaper, the Daily Alley.
I feel mean, but it's got to be Harry Kane.
Yeah, I mean, someone needs to check Gabriel's pockets, because I haven't seen Harry Kane since. Harry Kane's dick of the day for you, is he, miss?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it sort of says it all, doesn't it? So the win leaves Arsenal 10th in the league, above Spurs on goals scored. Who'd have thought that 3 games ago, a couple of weeks ago? Arsenal were rock bottom of the Premier League and Spurs were flying high. So 3 wins and 3 losses for each team's -5 goal difference. But Arsenal have scored 1 more than Spurs. So next up, Arsenal go to Brighton, who at this time of recording, they're 2 points off the top of the league with a game in hand. It's that M23 derby, Roz's favourite game in football, takes place tonight.
El Plastico.
El Plastico, love it. Can Arsenal beat Brighton next Saturday?
Oh, well, they can, if they play like that again. I mean, Brighton have kind of become the new Stoke for me, for Arsenal. They're a sort of side that weren't really on their radar, and every time they seem to play, there seems to be a little bit of nastiness. Brighton in recent years seem to kind of have their number a bit. Neil Maupay's sort of living rent-free in all the Gunners players' heads. So,
you reckon?
Yeah, I really do.
All right.
I think 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton.
I'm going for
next week.
Neil Maupay to score penalty.
Mrs. laughing at you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Neil Maupay is responsible for ending Guendouzi's Arsenal career, so he's got a lot to answer for.
Guendouzi's still on loan, isn't he? He's not.
Well,
has he gone?
I think it was an option to buy.
So
I think
let's hope they take that option up. What's your prediction, miss?
I'm going to go with a away win for Arsenal, 2-1.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, who's going to score the goals?
I think Aubameyang and Emile Smith Rowe.
That's more like it.
Yeah, I like it. Again,
I can't believe you think Brighton are going to beat Arsenal next week after this weekend's work.
I know. It's the hope that kills you, Joe. What I say, it's false dawn. You've been one game and all of a sudden you're like, these big guys. Brighton have had an amazing start. They're cashed in on the XG they created last season. As I predicted at the end of last season, I think Brighton are going to have a very good season, finish top half the table.
You did say that, to be fair. You did say that, didn't you?
I said that a lot. And I think they've proven it with their performances so far. So, you're acting like big guns because you've just beaten a really sorry Spurs side.
I'm going 3-0 Arsenal.
Of course you are. It's the hope that kills you.
What do you reckon, Sim? I don't think your mic's on out there.
Oi.
Simeon's joined us. Simeon Wright, Spurs fan and TalkSport reporter. Maybe we'll get you up in a sec. But listen, we'll have a little break here. We'll get Sim in and we'll talk Spurs. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool.
News, views and opinions from the English Premier League. You are listening to EPL Weekly.
Okay, you listen to EPLW, myself, Joe Carter, Mus and Roz inside the studio here with me as well, Studio 2A here at the News Building. And Simeon Wright joins us now, Spurs fan. Sim, we're going to take a look at things North London derby from a Spurs perspective. After the game, Nuno Espirito Santo said that his players weren't good enough.
Well, I'll make him right. But it's a strange situation because I think the problem was in one specific area, and that was the midfield. But it's the midfield that he picked. So, whether or not he thinks that they didn't do the job that he told them to do, the midfield players, it's worrying that seems to have got the selection wrong in midfield twice now. Against Chelsea, I think it was okay. I think that was just the case of playing a really good team. But against Palace, he played, I would say, 3 holders in Skip, Winks and Højbjerg. And then against Arsenal, he's played pretty much 2 passengers, I would say. If you're being nice, you call...
That's a dig.
If you're being nice, you will call Dele Alli and Tanguy and Ndombele. You would call them luxury players. But I think they've fallen into the category of being passengers. I don't think they did enough defensively at all.
Did Nuno underestimate Arsenal? I mean, I'm just going to give you Spurs' lineup just for a reference point for all of us. Laurice in goal, across the back, Tanganga, Sanchez, Dyer, Reguilon. The midfield 3, Sim, as you said, Ndombele, Højbjerg and Ali. And up front, Lucas Moura, Son Heung-min, and here it just says, check Gabriel's pockets.
I think that's a bit harsh, but no. It was just appalling. The first half performance, it was an embarrassment to be a Spurs fan. I mean, I don't say that lightly. I think that most of the games we play against Arsenal, you at least have fighting spirit. You at least have a bit of organisation, and if it's not going so well, you have the in-game awareness to do something about it. And there was no one who took control of that game. There really wasn't, and it was just so worrying.
It's incredible. I don't want to go too Roy Keane. I don't want to go too Graham Souness on this.
Yeah.
But let's go to Alan Shearer. Outthought and all that. But for a North London derby, how can you not match the other team's intensity? I just couldn't believe what I was watching. It was just no fight. There was Højbjerg that was kind of... Graham Souness made a great point on this, that he was kind of dropping back into that back 4. But we see Fernandinho do that for City, and it's amazing, right? But if you're doing that, then you've called them passengers, but you can't allow Dele Alli and Ndombele just so no fight whatsoever. You're playing against the notoriously hot-headed Xhaka. Get in his face. It's a dumb derby. Get him off.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it was just there was nothing to cling to. I mean, the second half performance, I think you saw us maybe calm down a little bit. He's taken them in at half time, and maybe you can get a bit of credit for that. But it's just I'm struggling to put into words how difficult it was, and I don't take what I've heard quite a lot that Harry Kane doesn't care anymore, because I think he gave the ball away for that second goal, and he chased it all the way back into his own box. But there's something going very, very badly wrong from an attacking point of view from him and from Spurs.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask you about that, Simeon, actually, from a Spurs perspective. What's going on with Harry Kane? Because he got a good reception when he came on against Wolves. Mm. Is it a lack of fitness? He's just not had a proper pre-season, or is it morale, or what's happening?
It must be the hangover from the move. I'm
he
sorry.
He wanted to go to City. Everyone wanted him to go to City.
I didn't want to say it, but you've said it.
Spurs
he probably wanted to go to City.
Spurs in ages was the first 2 games of the season without Kane. Nuno wasn't expecting Kane to be there, was he?
No, that's the thing. We prepared for the season without Kane, but you get a world-class player coming back into your team, and you hope that's almost like a new signing. And it's just not worked out that way. It might do. It's still early in the season, and he's quite a notoriously slow starter to seasons. But there's something wrong on the other side of it. He did score a goal last week against Wolves, but yeah, something is wrong, and he's not firing.
There's a running theme here, though, because talking about doesn't start seasons well. We know he doesn't score in August and all that. There was, apparently you got to the Champions League final once, and you did that without Harry Kane, and then all of a sudden he comes in for the final. Spurs look like a better side with Lucas Moura leading the line. You got a hat-trick in the same final against Ajax. So there does seem to be this kind of running theme with Spurs where they put all their eggs into the kind of Harry Kane basket. And for me, you just look like a better team when you're not trying to build around him. You don't have the players to do that.
Do you know what it reminds me of, Roz? And I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the comparison between Spurs and Arsenal. It reminds me of when Henry didn't leave Arsenal or his last season, or when Fabregas' last season before he left, Van Persie's last season before he left, Alexis Sanchez last season before he left. They all stayed a season too long. Okay, maybe not Henry, but they all stayed too long, and everything became about the one player. And the team, as soon as that player left, the team looked better.
Yeah.
Is it too much about Harry Kane?
Yeah, I think so. I think players do step up when they feel like they're being needed, and when Son is playing through the middle and he feels like the main man, I feel like Spurs are just a bit more direct, a bit more threatening on the transition. Whereas Harry Kane, when he's playing, everything feels like it needs to go through him, and he can kind of.
Kane's bigger than Spurs.
I wouldn't go that far. I just think he's got a big profile in the media.
What are you saying?
He's definitely bigger than Spurs at the moment.
Sim, what do you reckon?
But if you keep a player like Kane in your club, then you have to play him. You have to play him. Surely.
I agree with that. But in terms of if he's bigger than Spurs right here, right now, well, you've got the England captain. You've got the guy that's most likely to break Alan Shearer's record of most Premier League goals ever scored. No one at Spurs right now is that level of player, not that calibre of player.
No, not that calibre of player, but I wouldn't say he's bigger than Spurs. I think there's a good chance that he'll be out of Spurs in the next year, and Spurs will still be there. We'll possibly be better for it as well. Someone made the point earlier. Yeah. We could be a better team for it. You have to move on at some point. And
Millwall did it. Millwall did it when you stole him from us.
I tell you what, I've got a little. It's not a great story, but a little story about Kane and Millwall. And I remember, I think it must have been when I was in my Sunday League days. And I remember one of your fans, one of your season ticket holders, the dad of one of the players in my team, going, "We got some player at Millwall. This Harry Kane." I was like, what? Harry Kane? The guy that I've seen probably play 1 or 2 League Cup games, maybe a Europa League game for Spurs, and looked, I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. So,
he's a funny one.
So fair play. I think you guys were definitely his best loan spell.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say. Look at his loan spells before and after Leighton Orient.
As you often tell us.
As I always tell you, Harry Kane made them Millwall.
Sorry for dropping that.
That's right. Roz is going to love you now.
Oh, no. I remember those days.
Can we get Sim back? Can we get Simeon back?
Him and Andy Keogh up top. They were better days.
Anyway, yeah. Look, long and short of it is, this isn't a Spurs team that is bad. It's not bad. There's not bad players in this team. You've got France's World Cup winning captain in goal. You've got Tanganga, who burst onto the scene, as we all saw in the Amazon documentary. You've got Sanchez and Dyer, international centre backs. Reguilon. You've got Ndombele, Højbjerg, and Ali. I mean, Ali. What a crime Jose Mourinho committed with Dele Alli. What is going on there? Are we ever going to see the better side of Dele Alli again? Up front, Mora, as you say, hat-trick, Champions League semi-final. Son and Kane, England's captain, and a fantastic goal scorer for Millwall.
You're only a good player if you're in form, though. Let's remember.
Why aren't they performing then? Why aren't they in form? Is that surely it's the manager's fault? He's had a few months with him now.
It sounds too simplistic to say, but there's a general malaise at Spurs that's been going on for the last 2 years, and I think you've seen a few players go over the summer. You've seen Alderweireld leave. You've seen Vertonghen leave the year before. Who's the other guy? Eric Lamela as well, who never really did it for Spurs. Sometimes players can stay too long. Sometimes the squad can become stale. We've been saying that for 2 years now.
Has Harry Kane stayed too long?
Quite possibly.
I personally think, and this isn't being biased as an Arsenal fan. I personally think Levy should have cashed in on Kane for 100. The chat is that they wanted 150 and Man City only offered 100 or 120 or something.
If you've just seen Jack Grealish go for 100 million and you've got the guy that not only was top scorer last season but also got the most assists,
but
you're being mugged off. Levy's not going to get mugged off. Not financially, is he? Not anything to do with business. No. Well, no, that's what, if you've literally just seen Jack Grealish go for 100 million from the same club, and then they go, oh no, and should we go for a bit extra? Let's go for Kane, and you offer the same sum of money. You're being taken to the cleaners.
The price will be 120 million if he goes in January, and if he goes next summer. I've heard people saying like his performances at the start of the season will see him be like a 100 million player compared to the 150 that Spurs were trying to get before. No, we'll still get 120 for him.
Sim, tell me, where would you rather see Kane in January? Say Kane goes in January. Would you rather he was in the Premier League or would you rather he was away from the Premier League? Sounds like an obvious question, but some fans...
No, it's not an obvious question because I really, really, really want him to break that Shearer record. And
exactly.
You know what? If he breaks it at City, I think we've all been pretty resigned to the fact that City have all the money in the world. They have the best coach in the world. They have some of the best players in the world. If he went to Chelsea, different story altogether. If he went to Man United, probably a different story as well. I don't want to see him go to any of them. But City, if he goes there, wins trophies and breaks Shearer's record, at this point, I'll be pretty not happy, but I'll be accepting, I think.
Accepting of it.
You're suggesting that if he went to Chelsea, then what, his legacy's
Oh,
done?
absolutely. Of course.
Tarnished.
Of course.
Like Jimmy Greaves did the other way around, like Glenn Hoddle did. Like all these Spurs legends, also famous for being at Chelsea and doing very good things with Chelsea.
Different in a few ways, I think.
Why?
I think. I don't. For a start, I don't remember Jimmy Greaves' time, so like,
Have I miscalculated your age there?
I'm actually 85 years old. Yeah. I get your point. I just, for me, it would be unforgivable if he went to Chelsea.
I just think it's such a sort of modern thing, isn't it? Like, Dennis Law played for both Manchester clubs as well. Pat Jennings played for both Spurs and Arsenal.
Well, we might come on to this a bit later in terms of the Spurs and Arsenal, as this is a sort of North London.
Oh yeah, there was another
special.
one, wasn't there, that played for Spurs? Yeah.
All right, mate, steady on. Up next for Spurs then in the Premier League is Aston Villa. How are you feeling about that one, Sim?
Not so good, unsurprisingly. But it takes one game. It takes one decent performance. That's a home game, innit? The Villa game.
Yeah.
So one good performance,
Next Sunday.
and it's all changed. It's all smiles again. Let's not forget we were top of the league and Arsenal were bottom.
I was going to say, as Arsenal fans are proving, all it takes is one game. And that's brilliant.
Here we go.
It's so good.
Between now and then, they've got to host NS Mura, who...
Big fixture.
I thought that Millwall were going to be the smallest team you spoke about today.
in the European Wooden Spoon Trophy, which
on.
all right. At least you're in Europe, fair. The NS Mura, they're playing in the fourth tier of Slovenian football 7 years ago.
Great rise.
Great rise.
What were Leipzig doing? They played Man City, didn't they, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, true.
Didn't exist.
But surely Nuno must put yourself in Nuno's shoes now. In this game against NS Mura in the Europa Conference League, do you play a weakened side? Do you give your players a rest after the North London derby, or do you get them back on the pitch? Do you try and raise their confidence, or do you go and say you need to go and earn your shirts again? Go and get your shirt, or do you give them a rest? Which way do you go?
I'd play a hybrid team, bring in a few fringe players, bring in players like Harry Kane who need to get back in good form. He'll bag 7 goals or something, and then that will give him confidence. So I think that's the best way to approach it. And it's been said of like Man United getting knocked out of the League Cup. Like these clubs with big squads need these games to bring in fringe players.
Yeah.
So that's what it's there for, I think, for Nuno.
Let's also not forget how Harry Kane started. Spurs have a lot of very talented youngsters. Dane Scarlett. They've got Oliver Skipp, who had a great season
So
last
would you
year.
agree with Mus?
Hybrid.
Like a hybrid team, half string.
Yeah, I would
Sim,
almost.
What do you want to see? What would make you watch the game on Thursday? Would you rather see a bunch of youngsters, or would you rather see the first 11 or a mixture?
No, I think you've got to play the youngsters in that tournament. I mean, what's it for? Once you get to the knockout stages, it could be a bit different. Like you get to the last 16, the quarterfinals, and then whatever you want to say about it, it's the chance to win a trophy. But why not play the likes of Dane Scarlett and I'm struggling to think of them. The signings maybe. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. One player I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play Brian Hill because I think he's been quite like he had a hand in the goal the other day, and I think he's been quite impressive.
Does he already look a bit over the hill to you?
Well, he's not been given a chance to start walking up there, has he? Start starting the game in the league. No, I wouldn't start him because I'd keep him fresh. I'd keep him fresh, but yeah.
Okay, look, Sim, thanks for joining us. Before you leave us and we move on to our 11s chat, what's a good season for Spurs?
I would have said entertaining football and top 8, which is awful because we haven't finished below 7th for about 12 years. But the chances of playing entertaining football based on the first 6 games is looking pretty small. So that can change. That can all change. But at the minute, it's hard to be optimistic about Spurs. It really is.
Okay, mate. Sim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
What's your Twitter?
Sim RJ Wright. SIM RJ WRIGC.
EPL Weekly with Joe, Roz and Muzz.
Okay, you're listening to EPL Weekly. My name's Joe Carter. Alongside me is Mus Al Moss, Arsenal season ticket holder and pun man extraordinaire, although we haven't heard any puns from him today so far. Looking forward to one, please, Mus. And Roz Mack. Roz, how you doing?
I'm good, mate.
Good, just checking.
Nice.
Looking forward to the M23 derby this evening.
Naturally. I mean, yeah. Oh, it's just such a non-rivalry, isn't it? It's just not a rivalry.
It's not. I mean, for us to be talking about the North London derby and then talking about the M23 derby alongside it. Do one, mate. Okay, to celebrate / commiserate yesterday's North London derby, I've actually asked Roz and Mus to compile their greatest ever Arsenal and Spurs Premier League 11s. So we're going to go through them now and see if there are any discrepancies between the two of you. We'll iron out some issues and see what happens. Right, who wants to go first?
Are we starting with Arsenal or Spurs?
Up to you.
Right. Let's start alphabetical. Should we go with Arsenal?
Let's start with who's won the most trophies.
Okay. Same thing.
Let's start with who's won the most recent trophy.
Yeah. Okay. So to start off with a disclaimer, I'm as a kind of man of Egyptian heritage, I'm contractually obliged to try and shoehorn Egyptians into everything I do. But I'll declare a conflict of interest and just say that all the legendary Egyptians that are featured for both sides, be it Rami Shaban, the famous Jens Lehmann understudy, or Hossam Ghali for Spurs, or Ahmed Hassan Mido, I'll set them to one side.
Mido, oh wow. Yeah.
They would have obviously been in everyone's 11, but I'll declare a conflict of interest and set them to one side. In goal.
There's one Egyptian you missed there, which makes me think you're going to put him in the 11, Mus.
No, I have ruled out Hossam Ghali, Ahmed Hassan Mido, Rami Shaban, and Mohamed El Neniesta as a current player is not eligible for selection.
Is that right?
Current player?
No current players are available for selection.
Oh, interesting, actually.
Well, potentially. Well, obviously not from us. Well, right, come on then, give it to us.
There you go. That's where the creative tension comes into it. So I've gone goalkeeper. I've gone for David Seaman. He's the first person you think of when you think of a goalkeeper in the Premier League era for Arsenal. Great.
Okay, Roz.
It's a controversial pick, that.
It's a tough one.
Think of Lucas Flappy-Hansky. Think of
Mad Jens.
Manuel Almunia, who had his best days in Europe but never really seemed to do it in the Prem for me. No, David Seaman, it's the obvious pick, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. If you guys want to drop in any stats or anecdotes in between about any of these players, then a personal memory for me, for David Seaman, it wasn't in the Premier League, but it was that save against Sheffield United in the FA Cup.
My favourite save of all time.
Where he was diving backwards,
yeah.
mid-air, clawed it out of the net, didn't he, and scooped it away.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what,
oh my God.
I'm not an Arsenal fan, and I don't hate Sheffield United, but if I'm feeling low at any point, I find that save on YouTube, just put it on, just makes me feel that much better.
I mean, I get whiplash just watching it.
It's sort of like Neo from The Matrix. It's sort of like diving, but it's incredible.
Yeah.
But if you want some Seaman stats, maybe I should have rephrased that, but he made...
That's disgraceful.
Shoot.
Can we start? Oh my... Where's the button? How do I mute you? Right.
All right, from the top. If you want some David stats, he made 325 appearances for the Gunners. Only Ray Parlour made more in the Premier League.
Ron for Pele. He must be in the team as well. Mus, who's your defence?
Okay, should we start with right back?
Have you got a right back?
I do have a right back,
and
I will give you guys a tenner each if you could tell me his surname.
Bissana Tan.
Right, I've gone for Lee Dixon. No, I had gone for Lauren. I was going to make a joke about how he's made a successful career hosting Desert Island Discs, but you've just ruined it for me, Joe.
Oh man, sorry, mate.
That's all right. But yeah, Lauren, what was it?
Bissana Tan.
Bissana Tan, yeah. Narrowly edges out Lee Dixon for me as a member of the Invincibles.
Roz.
That's interesting. They both won the same number of league titles, so they both won 2 Premier Leagues. Lee Dixon, of course, everyone knows that English football started in 1992-93, so the title that Lee Dixon won for Arsenal before that doesn't count. But interestingly, one of them, they were together in the same season. It was the 01-02 season, and Lauren did play more games than Lee Dixon in that one. So technically, Lauren's sort of been part of more Premier League title wins.
And what did you go for then? Who did you go for?
I went for Lee Dixon, Joe.
Did you?
Saying that. No, you think of just the sheer number of games played. So you've got Lee Dixon, as Mus said, 305. Lauren with 159. You know.
But 38 of them were unbeaten in a row.
Here we go.
But no, it's a feat that's never been repeated.
Yeah, but, you know, if you're talking about, you know, the sexy members of that Invincibles team, you'd probably have, like... I mean, I really rate Gilberto Silva. But, you know, there are only 2 players in that side that you would go... They could be upgraded.
I'm sure
and those
mentioned.
2 members are Lauren and Gilberto Silva for me.
All right, fair enough. Okay. All right, let's move things along. I'm presuming you're both playing a 4-4-2 then?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mus, let's have both centre-backs at once, please.
Okay, so Sol Campbell and Tony Adams.
Wow, okay. Ros?
Very interesting. So I'm also playing a back 4. And I have gone for Tony Adams and Sol Campbell. Yeah, exactly the same.
Can't wait to play this one to Martin Keown. Wow. Martin Keown not in there.
Well, I mean, Sol Campbell...
Why?
Well...
Don't tell me it's because Campbell's an invincible, because that was your argument for not putting Lauren in.
No, it's not even that. I just think that...
He played for Spurs.
I know.
What's wrong with you, Mus? You put a Spurs player in your Arsenal 11.
How many Champions League
I put him in the
finals...
Spurs 11 as well, by the way.
How many Champions League finals did Martin Keown go to?
I don't care. He slapped Van
Martin Keown was...
He's a legend.
But when was Martin Keown ever, like, the actual... first name on the team sheet at Arsenal?
He was the
He's
second
always
one
like
after
the
Evans.
he was the third choice centre back for most of his career.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think so.
Behind what? Are you talking Steve Bold?
I'm talking the successful Arsenal teams. I'm talking
Adams and Keown, 98 double winners. Heralded the start of a new era at Arsenal.
All right.
I'm just here to trigger you.
Yeah. No,
Hey.
I just
talking of triggering.
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Go on.
He really bores me as a pundit, so he doesn't get in my 11.
Wow, that is definitely the reason for doing that. It's a great reason. Talking of triggering people, who's your left back, Mus?
Well, there was only one choice, and that's Nigel Winterburn.
Good man.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny. I think most Arsenal fans would say that. That's exactly what they would say, and they'd have that little lump in the back of their throat as they say it and go, Nigel didn't leave us. Yeah, but I mean, how much did Nigel Winterburn win?
Well, he made 270 Premier League appearances, way more than the other guy, who only made 156. But it's that thing that you were saying, Ross. It's that thing that you were saying about, what people do afterwards that can kind of ruin their legacy. So
Yeah.
I think that.
But when you put Sol Campbell in?
But I don't think what has he done to ruin his legacy?
Is he in your Spurs 11?
Yeah, but that's just because I'm trying to rub it in.
You can't have it both ways, Mus.
But when was Nigel Winterburn ever argued to be the best left back in the world?
He was part of arguably the best back 5 in the world.
Yeah, that was what I asked.
Football's a team game.
I think it would be hard to argue against Ashley Cole being the best left back in the world for a sustained period of time. Everyone always says Roberto Carlos. Ashley Cole was a far better defender.
There's no swearing on this podcast. I've done it twice now.
I can't. No. In fact, I can believe it. I can't believe that every Arsenal fan, as I say, will go for either one of Winterburn. Don't forget Gael Clichy. I know he's probably third on most people's lists as Arsenal left back.
How do they compare to you?
Well, there was at least, I think, 2 or 3 seasons where, in my opinion, Arsenal had the best fullbacks in the league. We didn't mention Sagna earlier, but they had Sagna and Clichy on either side, and I thought they were the best fullbacks in the league. Gael Clichy, of course, another invincible, just not actually playing against Arsenal's best, not playing ahead of Arsenal's best left back, Ashley Cole.
Okay,
wow.
Can we move on to the midfield before I get a bit? I'm getting a bit hot on.
Can I just say, when I heard Roz's choice of left back, I almost crashed my car.
There we go. Mus, let's talk midfield then. Do you want to give us your right side?
Yeah.
Does it matter right, left, or?
Yeah, I've gone with Freddie Ljungberg.
What player?
Yeah, I put him.
What a player!
Yeah, he kind of. Well, I'm not sure who Roz has gone for. Let's see.
No, it's fascinating. This was a sort of Now you say it, you're 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you've probably included both of them. I had a really hard choice to make, and it was between Pires and Ljungberg. And the reason it was a hard decision for me is because I'm playing a 4-2-3-1.
Oh.
Okay. So I think I know what the difference in our two teams will be. And I think it'll be really easy to prove you wrong. On mine is the better pick. But yeah, I've gone for Robert Pires on that side. I know he played most of his football on the left, but actually they switched around quite a lot.
So, Mus, did you put Pires on the left?
Yeah.
And who have you put on the right, Ross?
On the right, I've put Pires.
Sorry, who did you put on the left?
Thierry Henry.
Oh my god.
On the left wing?
Yeah, which is where he got most of his goals from.
No.
Yeah.
It's not.
But I mean,
It's what he played there for Juventus. He was rubbish for Juventus on the left wing.
No, I'm not
Wenger brought
talking
him in,
about that. I'm
converted him
talking
to a
about
striker.
what you call the archetype Thierry Henry goal is him cutting inside from the left. You know, it's Bergkamp playing in between the lines, and you know, his best days of his career at Barcelona, he played there quite a lot. So yeah,
he's trying to wind me up.
You can't tell me that Thierry Henry wouldn't do a job on the left in a 4-2-3-1. Arsenal are basically playing that anyway. Look how many goals Ljungberg and Pires got from the wings.
So you've left out Ljungberg and put Omri on the left wing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk centre mids then. So for you, Ros, it's two holding midfielders. Mus, it's two straight CMs for you, is it?
Yeah.
So who have you gone for?
I've gone with Patrick Vieira and Gilberto Silva.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, can't really look past that, can you, Ros?
Of course you can. You love that 98 side so much. Manu Petit.
So you've gone Vieira
So
and Petit?
Vieira and Petit, yeah. I think is a stronger... you can talk about sort of appearances. You can talk about sort of being an invincible... but in terms of just quality of player, calibre of player, Emmanuel Petit.
If you're going to talk about appearances, that ponytail... Petit's got to be in there on that alone.
Yeah, Gilberto Silva didn't do much appearance-wise.
No.
Sometimes it didn't even look like he was there. So if you want to talk appearances, you know, the famous unsung hero of the Invincibles.
More like the Invisibles.
Yeah, very good, like that. There's the pun. Where's the noise? Someone do the noise. Ding. There we go.
Definitely need to get one of those. Like a bell.
A bell.
Yeah,
that's
bell.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
A pun bell.
Rather than a dung bell, a pun bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Gilberto Silva, 170 appearances, very credible. Manu Petit only had 85, which is why I thought was a bit of a controversial pick.
Half. Exactly half.
Yeah.
Half the player?
No, double. Twice
double
the player.
So 4 times.
As I said earlier, in that invincible side, and I'm not trying to take anything away from... I know how much Arsenal hold on to
away
that.
from it.
You've
taken Lauren away from it.
No, that's what I'm doing. I'm just saying that...
You said those two
in that side,
actually, yeah.
I wouldn't take anyone over Vieira. I wouldn't take anyone over your wingers. I wouldn't take anyone over those front two.
You've left out Ljungberg.
Okay. Yeah, fair. But you know, in terms of sort of sexiness, Gilberto Silva. Yeah.
I mean, can I just say we're arguing over 2 World Cup winners here in Silva and Petit, so it just goes to show the calibre of club that Arsenal is.
Yeah,
absolutely. Should we move on?
So, I wonder if he'll be talking about that with a certain Tottenham goalkeeper later on.
I'll mention it.
Ian Walker never won the World Cup, mate. Right, Ros, who's your number 10?
It's got to be one man. You can't look any further. Just behind my striker, I think he's going to play really well. I know Arsenal fans will love him. I think actually just more of a sort of second striker. I've gone for Emmanuel Adebayor. I just got to knock it on.
I was so ready for that,
and I know you were. No, let's not forget that Adebayor had an incredibly good time at Arsenal.
Had a barn door.
Looked much better for me in his Arsenal days. No, it's got to be the Iceman, the non-flying Dutchman. You're probably your favourite.
I've never heard that before.
That is very good.
Non-flying Dutchman, that's brilliant. Because
there we go.
For anyone who's...
Have you genuinely not heard that before?
Oh,
nice.
You've never heard that before?
Oh, brilliant. Oh, cool. Every day's school day, Joe.
Yep.
No, I think he's so many people's favourite player, favourite Premier League player. So nice to watch.
My favourite player growing up.
Yeah.
The reason I like football.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's that famous time where first, second and third in the goal of the month competition, they were all Dennis Bergkamp goals.
Yeah.
Just sublime to watch. probably the most technically gifted. Just touch. Just touch.
Mus, I know your formation is slightly different, but I feel like you will have gone Bergkamp as well.
Yeah, he's one of my 2 up top.
What's your fondest memory of Dennis Bergkamp in an Arsenal shirt?
His goal against Newcastle, obviously, kind of stands out because of the lead up to the goal.
Did he mean it?
I think so. He was just such an instinctive player.
Not sure, are you know? Did he mean it?
No, 100%.
Did he mean it, Ross?
It's a bit like when you were selecting left backs and you said Nigel Winterburn. It was all like, yeah, that's definitely the best left back.
You got to
play for the
commit
club.
this if you're going to say it.
The thing about that goal, the way you know he meant it is he turns the other way. If you take a bad touch, you try and chase it, whereas he touched it and then went left.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's that fact. Ian Wright talks about it, doesn't he? And Ian Wright says, he asked him, is it deliberate, what you did there? And he famously says that, it was a bad pass from Pires.
Yep.
The pass was actually just behind him.
Yeah.
And he had to improvise. And you get me any other footballer to improvise and do that, and it ain't happening. So for me, he was probably one of the only players on the planet that could do it.
Yeah.
And there's an element of luck to it. Of course there is. There's elements of luck in what Messi does. I know people won't want to hear that, but it is very true.
I mean, so the last player in your Arsenal 11 is obvious. Right?
Well,
here we go.
Who was the player that Dennis Bergkamp, this player that we're bigging up, who is the player that he most enjoyed playing with at Arsenal?
Right.
Well, hang on. This is a thing, actually, because obviously you've put Henry on the left wing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could guess.
Yeah.
It's another one of my all-time faves. But you must have gone Henry up top with Bergkamp.
Yeah, that's right. I have
because he's a striker.
Of course, he's our all-time record goal scorer. But I can't hate. I mean, if Roz has kind of put him on the left in order to squeeze in Ian Wright, then I can't hate that because everyone loves Ian Wright.
You've left Ian Wright out of your team.
He's on a subs bench.
Oh my God!
There's no bench. This is an 11, mate.
Sorry, Henry is the record goal scorer for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whose record did he beat?
Ian Wright's.
There we go. So you've managed to fit in Gilberto Silva and Freddie Ljungberg over Arsenal's
and Lauren.
second and Lauren, over Arsenal's second place all-time goal scorer.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
that's a feat.
It's called
That's
positional
impressive.
discipline, Roz. I'm not going to play Ian Wright out right back just to put him into the team like you shoved Henry out
but
onto the left.
You can't tell me that my team ain't doing a job. You got Ian Wright on his own up front, getting in the heads of
Could
the
just see
defenders.
Roz now
You've
in the
got-
changing rooms. Thierry, can you do a job for us today on the left?
No, but that's it. You can't tell me that Thierry Henry wouldn't do bits for Arsenal in that formation if you have Ian Wright up top.
Are we talking prime age, prime time?
Yeah.
At their best.
Yeah.
It's that Ibrahimovic
maybe.
quote.
Henry with his pace, I'm talking sort of 2003, 2004, maybe even 2002.
Won't do any defensive work though.
That's all right. You've got the best left back in the world at the time, Ashley Cole.
Nigel Winterburn.
You walked right into that.
It's that Ibrahimovic quote, isn't it, about having a Ferrari and driving it like a Mini. If you put Henry out on the left, you're going to nullify his goal scoring.
No, you won't, because you tell Thierry to get in the box every given opportunity, and you can do that. You can afford to do that because A, you've got Ashley Cole, but B, you've got possibly the hardest in terms of just the toughest in terms of the combat, the battle of the game, midfield pairing in Petit and Vieira. And you know what? They both had class. They both had positional awareness. You can literally give Henry a free roll if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's read out our 11s then, our Arsenal 11s, before we move on to doing our Spurs 11s. Mus, can you give it 1 to 11?
Sure. So we've got David Seaman, Lauren, Nigel Winterburn, Patrick Vieira, Gilberto Silva, Robert Pires, and up front Dennis Bergkamp and Thierry Henry.
Love it. Roz?
It's David Seaman, Lee Dixon, Sol Campbell and Tony Adams in the middle. Then you got Ashley Cole, the best left back in the world for several years. Ashley Cole, a left back. You've then got holding midfielders in Patrick Vieira and Emmanuel Petit. Then you've got Pires on the right, Bergkamp in the hole. You've got Thierry Henry on the left in kind of free role, and you've got Ian Wright, Arsenal's second all-time goal scorer, up top.
He has got a point, Miss. We're going to put these teams up on Twitter at EPLW Pod. You're listening to EPLW. My name's Joe Carter, Ros and Mus alongside. And we're going to look now at our Spurs all-time Premier League 11. So, guys, I asked you to put an Arsenal 11 together. You've done that for me. Now I'm asking you for your all-time Premier League Spurs 11. I'm not sure if this one's going to be more interesting, less interesting, more discrepancies between you perhaps, because it's not as obvious.
It's funny, isn't it? When I was sort of looking this up, the Arsenal one kind of picked itself. It picked itself so much that Alexis Sanchez didn't even come up because,
of course, he didn't.
Obviously, like Ashley Cole, Arsenal fans don't really remember him fondly. But Arsenal, when they won the FA Cup that year, they were pretty much a one-man team.
That year, which? One of the 14? Which one do you mean?
Here we go. I think for 2 or 3 years, and that's why Arsenal was so gutted that he left. Was that Arsenal were a one-man team. They were just looking to Alexis Sanchez. That was why there was that interest. However, he wasn't there that long. And I think with Spurs, you've got so many players like that were tearing it up for 1 season, tearing it up for 2 seasons, went on to do better things after Spurs. They didn't have as many sort of long-standing, world-class players like Arsenal do.
Mus, any disclaimers before this 11 about any sort of nationalities or anything like that, as with your Arsenal sort of Egypt embargo situation?
Similar things. So I've kind of ruled out Ghali and Hassan Ghali, of course, and Ahmed Sam Mido, who scored against Arsenal on the 31st of January 2007.
Good for him.
But I've included a few more. So the reasons behind some of the selections here have more to do with humour.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so what's the formation, Mus?
I think I've also gone for a 4-4-2 here.
That's not funny. Ros, what's your formation?
I've gone 4-4-2.
Okay, you've both gone 4-4-2.
But can I just bring up, Mus said that you didn't have any contemporary players? Does that mean that you're missing out a guy that always scores against Arsenal, apart from yesterday? Millwall legend Harry Kane.
I am actually.
You're missing him out.
Interesting.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll start from the top, shall we? Yeah. And by the top, I mean up top, which is another term for striker. Ros, you've got Kane and...
Guess.
Is it sleeves up, dive into the ground, Klinsmann?
It's not actually. It's
Teddy Sheringham.
It's another Millwall legend, Teddy Sheringham.
Oh, okay.
And nothing to do with their Millwall days.
Really?
Funny enough, all to do with their Spurs days. You think of Spurs, you think of Teddy. 2 spells there, went to Man United, actually won some trophies, then came back to Spurs, did a bit of charity for them there. But I think he'd actually...
West Ham?
Yeah.
Spurs fans like him or not?
But this is why, we were talking earlier about sort of, the Chelsea Spurs link and if their legacy's dead. Teddy Sheringham, for a long time, as Millwall's all-time top goal scorer, was a coach at West Ham at some point as well. Yeah, I don't really mind it that much. They're doing a job at the end of the day. But yeah, Teddy knocking it on, Harry Kane not playing his kind of deepened role. I'm talking 5 years ago, and he was an out-and-out goal scorer. Teddy Sheringham knocking it on for him.
So you've got Kane and Sheringham up top.
Yeah.
Probably 2 of the best goal scorers in English football history.
I would say so. But it's funny because you mentioned Jurgen Klinsmann. Only 1 season there. He scored 29 goals, 20 of those in the league. Had an incredible season there. Also one of, you would say Jurgen Klinsmann is a world-class player. He's a World Cup winner. Incredible.
You always think of him as a Spurs player as well.
Yeah, was this because they were the only English club that he played for?
It's because I know F all about Spurs.
But yeah, they've also got...
But I would say Sheringham and Kane, they must be on the top 10 English strikers all time.
Yeah.
Well,
Shearer, Rooney, Cole, Ferdinand,
Greaves. Wait, are we talking Premier League or just
Premier League era?
And Cole.
Yeah,
said
that.
All right, yeah. 166 goals for Kane, 97 for Teddy Sheringham, but he was never that kind of striker. Yeah. He was always more of a kind of second striker. 2 guys we haven't mentioned, Robbie Keane and Jermaine Defoe, both got 91, so pretty close to Teddy.
I guess Defoe would be in that top 10 potentially as well.
Yeah.
Mus, so Ros has gone for Kane and Sheringham up top. We already know that you didn't go for Kane, and that you have said that your selections are funny. So why don't you tell us some of your funny strikers?
No pressure. So I thought about Sheringham, but then I went with Berbatov. Dimitar. He only made 70 appearances for Spurs, only scoring 27 goals. But he actually won a trophy while at Spurs, and we all know what a rarity that is. And
He's gone for Jonathan Midgate as well.
That's fair. That is fair. Berbatov was such a great player to watch. He almost got that kind of languid style. It's a bit like Nosferatu on the football pitch, just sort of creeping about. And some of the goals he scored, there was one at Old Trafford where he skinned a defender, nicked it over his leg down the line.
I'll tell you what, you get a paint for saying it. He's almost like a sort of Bergkamp light at some points.
Bergkamp.
You know what I mean? Bergkamp without the nastiness. But in terms of just the touches he took, the lazy touches plucked out of the air and stuff, there was something quite similar in their games.
It's a fair comparison, I'd say. What do you reckon, Miss?
yeah, similar style of play.
Who have you put up front with Berbatov then? Who's doing all the running?
Well, the running comes from elsewhere, Joe. We'll get onto that. But I've put Jurgen Klinsmann next to Berbatov. More for, like, you know, his iconic status and his contribution to the popularity of the Premier League.
His one season of brilliance.
It's one celebration.
It's one celebration.
I don't think
Roz
anyone's...
is sitting there grinning like a Cheshire cat from ear to ear. He's like, I don't have to say anything. I've argued this point already.
It's fine. But, you know, I've gone for Harry Kane with 166 goals, Teddy Sheringham with 97 goals. How many did you say Berbatov scored? 27. Okay. And next to him is...
Klinsmann
with 29 altogether, but in the Premier League just 20, I believe.
I've got 30 goals.
Oh, have you? That was across the season, not in the Premier League, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, right, midfield time, boys. Rosa, should we do centre mids first?
It's my one weakness. I'll be honest straight away. I've gone for a 4-4-2, and there are certain Spurs players that you can't possibly leave out. You can't leave out Luka Modric because he went on to win a Ballon d'Or. And was unreal for Spurs. Got that move to Real Madrid eventually. I was really trying to fit a holding midfielder in, because as you know, I hate these sides where, you know, you get like Messi
You like your 11 to function as a team, don't
100%.
you?
I don't
which
like...
Is why you put Henry on the left wing for Arsenal.
Yes, because he could do a really good job there, because he had pace and he cuts inside. And I've already made this point, and I'm right. I'm just right.
Right then.
But no, I hate this idea of sort of
Yeah.
putting Messi at central midfield just so you can accommodate Maradona ahead of him. That
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know.
Bloody hell, which team's that for?
An Argentine. Oh no, you know, if you want to get Kempes, Messi, Ozzy Ardiles. Oh no, not Premier League. But no, I've put Christian Eriksen next to Luka Modric.
Wow.
And I appreciate there's not a
Really?
holding midfielder there. And
What do you make
I
of
was
that?
scraping.
Mus, surely there's better in there. Modric and Eriksen,
Yeah,
they're going to do a job for Spurs.
No.
Well, I was flirting with putting Moussa Dembele in there, who
Is it
often
really
played.
that light for Spurs in midfield?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I was looking down sort of centre of the park. In terms of holding midfielders, I came up with Michael Carrick.
Yeah, Carrick.
Michael Carrick only had 64 appearances for Spurs.
That's because he kept getting injured.
Scott Parker only had 50. Scott Parker was immense.
How many? So
for Spurs.
Yeah, okay, I see where it's going.
Better for West Ham. But, you know, you compare those figures, 64 and 50 appearances, versus Christian Eriksen's 226 and got to a Champions League final. You compare that to Luka Modric, who went on to win a Ballon d'Or. You'll look at my wingers later and you'll see why I can't put either of those two out wide.
That's fair enough.
So you know, the quality of strikers we were talking about, it had to be a 4-4-2 for me. And I had to go with those two, Eriksen and Modric.
Mus, same, different? Tell us about your funny centre mids.
Well, I've gone.
Make us laugh.
I've gone with Stefan Freund. No, I haven't. Sorry. No, that was a Freundian slip.
Oh my god!
No, so I mean, I thought about putting in Tom
Roz
Hiddleston.
is refusing to laugh. He's literally there,
I'll wait,
sitting
so
on
let me
the
know when.
Roz, just check your mic. I think there's. Are you sure it's working? No, okay. So I was going to go with Tom Hiddleston because I'm a big fan of his Marvel movies.
who?
I love that.
Oh, right.
Actually, in fairness, holding midfielder that I didn't mention.
Yeah,
Huddleston.
and he's great as Loki, rather, in the Marvel movies. But no, I went with Scott Parker.
Yeah, 50 appearances. That's almost 2 seasons.
Indeed. And
It's fine. 226 for Eriksen.
it was either him or Jermaine Genius, but as we've clearly concluded, the calibre of centre mids in Tottenham's Premier League history, you know.
It really isn't up to much.
Yeah,
There's another one. Rafael Van Der Vaar had an incredible 2 years under Harry Redknapp, but he's
great.
another attacking player.
He's attacking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's
So,
no.
sorry, Mus. Who are your centre mids? Confirm that for me. I
Yeah,
got
sorry.
lost in the melees of the melee of the melees or
in all the
mayonnaise.
bands.
Anyone?
So I've also gone with Luka Modric, and I'd say just
And Stefan Freund.
no. That was a Freundian slip.
Oh, Tom Hiddleston.
No, Scott Parker.
Scott Parker.
The others were just for humour. I've gone for Scott Parker.
So hang on, Scott
in all
Parker-
So
seriousseriousness.
Scott Parker right for humour. Scott Parker right for humour.
That's-
Scott
that's
Parker
correct.
with
Parker
50.
wasn't a joke.
No, I never
minutes.
joke about Scott
You
Parker.
said
Yeah.
Scott Parker.
Yeah.
You've chosen Scott Parker.
Scott Parker.
In fairness, in terms of like being a legend for Spurs, yeah, he got relegated with West Ham.
And he played
That
for
doesn't
Chelsea.
get much
And
better
he played
for-
for Chelsea.
Yeah, he did.
Well, the thing about
And he went to my school. Just getting that in there.
Yeah, same. Well, we went
Well,
to the same school. So.
But I said it first. It's more true.
Yeah, it's fair enough. The thing about a lot of these Spurs midfielders, they almost kind of their more memorable days came at other clubs.
Yeah.
Whether it's Michael Carrick,
They
Modric.
won trophies
I
and stuff.
saw- Yeah, I certainly remember when Scott Parker got relegated to West Ham. Connor Salmon. It's beautiful, beautiful day.
Parker was brilliant for Charlton, wasn't he? Before,
Yeah.
We just get.
before all of that.
This is what Spurs has turned into. You got one guy who doesn't really take Spurs that seriously. You've got two Arsenal fans, and we're just talking about all the other clubs in London.
Yeah, sorry, right, okay.
So Sim's
Stay
gone, and
focused.
we've just gone off kilter.
Sim would not be happy with it. He's going to listen back to this. He's going to be like, you guys, after I left, you absolutely dug Spurs out. But it's all right, we'll get him back for the next one, and he can have his say on the 11. Mus, so you've gone for Scott Parker and Luka Modric. Yeah.
Ask me who my left back is.
Can we do wingers first? Or
Well,
wide
it would
midfielders?
ruin the joke.
Oh,
but-
Mus, who's your left back?
Gareth Bale. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to go all Harry Redknapp. I've gone with Gareth Bale as my left winger, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and justifiably, Ros. Yeah.
No, not really.
Ooh. Do you
Well,
not have Bale at all?
You've got Bale as your left back.
Left wing.
Oh, sorry, I thought that's what you were.
No, it's because,
Right.
of course.
It was.
Oh,
one of
was
Harry's
that the
funny
joke?
jokes.
Yeah.
Was that when I was meant to laugh? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm lost.
Keep
Oh,
up.
wow.
Lost. Gareth Bale, yeah, can't argue. That season.
How many trophies did he
season.
win at Spurs?
Well, as you know, Joe, as you've already seen on my sheet, I've I've got a little spreadsheet here, and it's got columns in terms of appearances, goals, and it was mainly to help the Arsenal players. I wanted to put how many titles they had, just so I could pick
Ouch.
between the Laurens and the Dixons, who actually end up having the same,
Yeah.
and players like that. And I just had to put in the numbers for all the Spurs players, and it was titles. It's just big fat zeros.
All
next to
zero.
of them. Yeah. Probably hurts more for a few players we'll get into later,
Yeah.
where they actually went on to win trophies when they left Spurs.
Well, yeah, Bale.
Bale is one.
A few Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted
Yeah.
Sheringham's another one.
Yeah. Bale. So yeah, that's. I mean, should we
Hey.
park Bale and get onto the right midfield?
Well, so just on Gareth Bale, yeah, although he didn't win any trophies, he scored that amazing hat-trick at that glorious defeat in the San Siro for Spurs.
I think my icon's still in tears, isn't it?
Yeah.
And an honourable mention to Ginola, who was kind of head and shoulders above the rest back in his day. And he-
Ros
That
didn't
was,
even.
that
clock
was
that.
no, that was actually good. That was actually quite funny. I'm on David Ginola. We were talking about winning titles going on elsewhere. Teddy Sheringham famously left and joined the treble-winning side, Man United. Who won the PFA Player of the Year? Man United won the treble.
Well, I'm
Ginola.
guessing
David
it's Ginola,
Ginola.
yeah.
David Ginola for
Yeah.
Spurs won the Player of the Year that season. So he was a tough one to leave out for me. Really tough. But if you look at the numbers again, I mean, Ginola 100 appearances. You know, he only really did
A straight ton.
3 years there. Gareth Bale 166. Aaron Lennon.
The first 66 of those, they were the losses, weren't they?
That's
that
very true.
incredible
It's because he
run
was.
where
It's
he
because
was
he was playing at left back.
He
That's
was
the
their
problem.
bad luck charm.
Yeah, for a long
Um,
time, wasn't he?
Yeah. Aaron Lennon. What is he? Is Aaron Lennon your right midfielder? then?
He isn't, but I'm just gonna say Aaron Lennon 266.
Aaron Lennon's not your right midfielder.
He's not.
Blah, 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 blah,
I'm
blah. Sorry.
giving him an honourable mention. An
So who
honourable
is your right
mention.
midfielder then?
You can look no further than the legend that is
Darren Anderson.
Darren Anderton.
Well, sick note.
66 hero. Not 66 hero.
66.
96 hero.
I think you were looking at how many injuries he's had, weren't you, when you said 66?
Fair enough. He still amassed 299 appearances for Spurs. Certainly when I was growing up, you thought of Spurs, you thought of Darren Anderton. Fair
Why
few
they don't win
assists.
anything.
Bit of a utility player, could play. I mean, he must have played every formation under the sun throughout his career.
Don't tell me you've picked
and
him
every
as well.
role, pretty much. You know,
No,
attacking
Mus
field.
might have picked him for a joke.
I thought about it, but you know that meme where it's like, "Mum, can we get McDonald's?" And it's like, "No, we've got McDonald's at home. Oh, we've got burgers at home." And then you go and it's like it's awful, you know, like that frozen concoction.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, "Mum, can we get David Beckham?" "No, we've got David Beckham at home." You go home and it's Darren Anderton. It always struck me as this kind of like in the you know, he had similar hairstyle, not quite as good looking, not quite as good at crossing the ball in. But
Interestingly,
He
you
was
say
before,
that
wasn't
in
he?
'96, we played a sort of back five or back three with sort of wing backs, with sort of midfield three.
England. Are you talking England?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So for England, it was actually David Beckham, probably the best crosser of the ball this country's ever produced.
Yeah.
He was put inside. Darren Anderton kept his position on the right
Oh,
flank.
really? Wow.
And it was actually Beckham that was pushed into midfield. So shows how we kind of rated them at the time.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, like you say, sort of sick note, he gets a bit of a hard time,
I think
Darren Anderton.
Anderson was before Beckham as well, so I guess
Of
they were
course,
trying to get
yeah.
Beckham into the team, but Anderson had to pull rank on it or something.
Yeah, by the time we got to sort of 1998, Beckham did his country much more proud. Yeah, good.
So yeah, Anderton, I guess, is a fair shout, even though I took the Mickey. And Mus.
I've gone with Aaron Lennon.
Yeah,
Aaron
but I mean,
Lennon, yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
It's a close call between the two of them.
It's really close. Like I said, 266 for Lennon, 299 for Anderton.
I would like to ask a Spurs fan what they thought on that.
Yeah.
Let's talk defences though.
Cool.
You got a straight back four. Let's start with right back.
I'm gonna go for probably quite predictably, I'm guessing, Kyle Walker.
Okay, so another one of those that's gone on and done better elsewhere.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily so. I think if you think of the great Spurs...
Well, how many trophies did he win at Spurs?
Well,
And how many has he won for City?
Yeah.
no.
So necessarily so.
Yeah.
I would say... I wouldn't compare it to what he did necessarily in his career. I would compare... In terms of me backing up my choice of him,
Yeah.
I would say look at the success points, or close to success points, in Spurs' history, or Premier League history. And you're talking about Poch. And you're talking about when Danny Rose and Kyle Walker were just the best fullbacks in the league. And it wasn't really debatable.
Yeah,
You could talk about Kieran Trippier, but he wasn't there that long.
What happened to Danny Rose?
That's a very good question.
Kyle Walker's gone on to be, Premier League winner.
But the problem is, I think that
it Centurion?
Ashley Cole, the best left back in the world, was still playing at the time, wasn't he? So
Steady on, mate. Sim was really good earlier. Everyone's expendable in this team.
yeah.
You carry on about Ashley Cole. Your card's marked, mate.
Yeah. Nice.
No, fair. Yeah, Kyle Walker. I mean, you can't really look past him, can you, miss?
Well, I've
You
gone. Guess who I've gone for?
Don't say Jamie O'Hara.
No.
Okay.
I think that you've gone for Stephen Carr.
No. I've gone for Pascal Chimbonda.
No, you haven't.
Now picture Pascal Chimbonda. What is he wearing on his hands?
Gloves. White gloves.
He was
White gloves, like a snooker referee.
That's why you've picked him.
Yeah.
You picked him because he had a bit of a funny outfit.
He was the OG Bellerin, a right back
God.
who was fashion conscious rather. And on the 14th of January 2007, Chimbonda was involved in a controversial incident against Newcastle United when he slapped Nicky Butt in the face with his glove. Who remembers that?
Hello, Rick James.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Rick James.
And he also won the Carling Cup.
I'm just trying to think when we get. I know we're not there yet, but when we actually get to sort of the joint side, what chance is Chimbonda going to stand? That's why you've done
Okay, left back.
it. Danny Rose.
Yeah.
And for me, this one, there really can only be one. I said sort of Stephen Carr earlier for Spurs. I said Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker were the three to kind of
Put Trippier left back.
put. No, Danny Rose. There were those sort of 3 seasons 3 seasons. Even when they got to the Champions League,
Memorable
Rose was
North
still
London
playing.
derby goal, Danny Rose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
On the body.
Brought away to make your mark.
That hurts. That's painful every time I relive that moment. Like just now, my chest hurt a bit. when
I think
talked about it.
I don't know. You might disagree with me. I was saying that Arsenal had the 2 best fullbacks in the league for 2 or 3 years. For me, Tottenham had the best fullbacks in the league for about 3 or 4 when they had Kyle Walker and Danny Rose. I don't think you can really argue with that. I'm sure you can. I'm sure we're going to.
No, I'm going to not argue with it.
Fair.
And unless Musty, do you want to argue with it?
No, I've got Danny Rose as well.
Okay, let's go centre backs then. So,
Cool.
the big reveal, Ros. Who are your 2 centre backs? Tell me straight up. Who are they?
Ledley King and Toby Alderweireld.
Mus, who are your 2 centre backs?
Ledley King and Gary Mabbott.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
No, it isn't.
it is.
You're lying to me.
Genuinely.
Right, let's
You're
start with
lying.
what you've agreed on. Ledley King. You've both agreed on Ledley King. Tell me one reason why Ledley King.
Well, it's not looking great if you call Darren Anderton sick note. But I think he was always the player that would have really pushed. The fact is that we were talking about his fitness in a way that he would dislodge John Terry, potentially Rio Ferdinand, probably Sol Campbell as England's first choice centre-half. We were complaining that he was always injured because he should be starting for England. You look at the calibre of centre-halves at the time,
Yeah.
and you don't really need to say much more about how good a player Ledley King was. Spurs legend, Spurs through and through. Famously spent most of his time training in swimming pools because of a horrendous injury record. But
Mus, I mean, anything else to add on Ledley King there?
Just to say, if you hear how like Peter Crouch, who kind of came through the ranks with him in the youth setup, if you hear how highly he speaks of Ledley King and the ability that he had, not just as a defender but as a footballer, it's kind of a bit of a shame that injuries kind of blighted his career so much. But yeah, very talented.
Currently assistant coach at Spurs.
Yeah,
And I'm just looking, 268 appearances.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, is it? I
mean, it is when you consider he was there for 12 years.
Yeah, true.
That's the shame.
yeah. And as far as his assistant coaching career goes, yeah, I think he'll be forever remembered for that Instagram video, I think, where he's just there with Jose Mourinho and the backroom staff pretending to speak Portuguese. So I think Jose Mourinho cracks a joke in Portuguese and everyone starts laughing and Ledley King's like just laugh.
Oh, that's brilliant. Ros, Alderweireld and Mercy said Mabbott.
Yeah.
Where do we start here?
Do I need to argue? I don't think I need to argue.
Why do you think he's put Mabbott in?
Because he's wrong. I don't know. You can't. If he hasn't sort of used logic to get him into this position, I can't use logic to get him out of it. It's just. Explain to me why, apart from just appearances for a very long time when Spurs were crap. Explain to me why he's even ahead of Michael Dawson when they were half decent, Jan Vertonghen when they were very decent, Sol Campbell. 255 appearances. Well, why?
Well, I would first point you towards a fan survey where he comes in second behind Ledley King.
Yeah, 'cause he was there for a long
Spurs
time.
fans. So he's highly rated among Spurs fans for his loyalty and dedication to the club. Right? And he
How long
is
after Judas left for Arsenal was that poll taken? How much was it used just despite Sol Campbell moving to Arsenal? Going, well, we liked this player.
I think it was the day after.
Yeah, I'd imagine it was.
Yeah, and he just struck me as an interesting guy. So I don't know if you know.
I can't argue. He's picked his right back because of the gloves that he wore. Like,
His disclaimer was no Egyptians and they're funny. So,
I think it's funny. It's funny.
I mean, did you know that?
Hats off to you.
Did you know that Gary Mabbott came close to bringing legal action against John Fashanu at the start of the 93-94 season after suffering multiple fractures to his eye socket and cheekbone in an aerial challenge with the Wimbledon striker?
Wow.
The only footballer to ever have come close to taking legal action over a tackle.
I'm most impressed by your pronunciation. Can you tell me John Fashionu's name again, please?
No.
Was it John Fashanu?
I think the pronunciation is Millwall legend John Fashanu.
John Fashanu.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a joke in there.
Did he lead with the elbow then? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Like a flasher, came close to being legally sued for a tackle. Anyway, sorry, let's cut that out. But
okay, so what have we got left? We've done our strikers.
Can I do one other Mabbott interesting story? Because in 2018,
another one, not another.
Yeah.
There can't be more interesting stories about Gary Mabbott.
Wait for this. This will justify
the second one is
selection.
In 2021, must picked him in his all-time Arsenal Premier League 11.
In 2018, he had part of his foot eaten by a rat. while on holiday. I'm not. It's not funny, guys. Like,
no, you picked a right back for his gloves, and you've got a centre half who only has one decent foot. It's just too much.
Was it his weaker foot or his stronger foot? Do you know?
Well, it was.
He doesn't even know.
No, I don't know.
I mean,
call yourself a Mabbott expert.
No.
Right. Roz, who's your left back?
We've already done left back. Did our full backs together? Danny Rose, my my back four.
You said Rose and Walker. Right, cool.
Yeah.
So your back fours are all done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper, easy peasy. Roz.
Yeah. World Cup winner, Hugo Laurice.
Mus?
Same.
Yeah.
Hugo Laurice.
Yeah.
I mean, the only argument you could possibly make is that I've got 4 goalkeepers here from both clubs on my short list. Only one of them scored a goal.
Ian Walker.
Paul Robinson.
Tim Flowers.
Paul Robinson.
See,
Paul Robinson,
told you, Paul Robinson.
Against Watford, I believe.
Yeah.
I think a young Ben Foster was.
He scored
online
more
there.
than one, hasn't he, Paul Robinson? I'm sure he scored a couple.
It might have been for another club. He only scored one for Spurs
in the Premier League. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. There was one, I think, was it him or was it Tim Howard, talking of scoring goalkeepers, completely off topic. Was it Tim Howard who, it was a goal kick and the wind carried it?
Yeah.
It was against Stoke
and
he
it
had
once and then went over the keeper.
He had a really funny interview afterwards where he just looked like annoyed that it had gone in. They were sort of trying to draw him in and sort of go, it must be amazing for you to score a goal. He's like, well, no, I don't like it, as a professional goalkeeper. I just feel, it can happen.
And as a professional impressionist.
How's my
I can't
American
believe
accent?
that just happened.
Well, I mean, you're trying to do a Manx Scouse American.
Who got,
Give it a
not
go.
a laughing matter, but he also suffered from Tourette's. So
He did.
That impression could have
Indeed.
been far more offensive. So I'm glad.
That's true, yeah.
Exactly.
It would have been a lot more editing to do overnight
Yeah,
had
100%.
he gone down the Tourette's road.
God.
Mus, Hugo Laurice won the World Cup with Spurs, with France, sorry.
Yeah.
Hasn't won anything with Spurs, has
No,
he?
not yet. Not ever.
Went back to Spurs after the World Cup. France won. What's he done since, really?
He's the captain.
Oh, captain of Spurs!
Yeah.
In fairness, he had an absolute howler in the World Cup final, didn't he?
Yeah.
Against Croatia.
Yeah.
He
So what you're saying, he played up until the semi-finals of that World Cup and after that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he's that good a goalkeeper. And again, it goes back to this whole thing about the Spurs side, where most of them, I would say, like 3 of them have had their best days in a Spurs shirt.
Yeah.
And Hugo Laurice, for me, isn't one of them.
But this week of all weeks, where we know the value of Laurice drivers, we need to, give.
You surely got more in the tank than that, mate.
Oh, wow. Okay, look, guys, before we finish this section of the pod, let's just run it down. You listen to EPLW. My name's Joe. This is Mus and Roz, and here are their Spurs 11s. Mus, what's your Spurs 1 to 11 all-time Premier League players?
So we've got Hugo Laurice in goal. We've got Ledley King and Gary Mabbott at centre back.
Outrageous.
That's 2 centre backs, and then Danny Rose left back. And my right back is Pascal Chimbonda. Left midfield, I've got Gareth Bale. Right midfield, I've got Aaron Lennon, and in the middle, Scott Parker and Luka Modric. And up front, Jurgen Klinsmann alongside the legendary Dimitar Berbatov.
My God. It's a
Cool.
shambles.
You knew that inside out, didn't you? Roz, who's your 11?
Mine's actually quite good. Hugo Laurice in goal. Fullbacks, you've got Kyle Walker and Danny Rose. You got Ledley King in the middle with Toby Alderweireld. I always need to think about how I pronounce that. Luka Modric and Christian Eriksen pulling the strings in midfield. Gareth Bale, Darren Anderton on the wings. Millwall legend Teddy Sheringham up top with Millwall legend Harry Kane.
There you go. Those 11s will be up on our Twitter at EPLW Pod. And have your say. Let us know what you think. Are the guys right? Are they wrong? Do you agree with Mus? Do you agree with Roz? What would your team be? Put it up on Twitter.
EPL Weekly with Joe, Roz and Muzz. Join the conversation on EPLW.
Hello, this is EPL Weekly. My name's Joe Carter. Alongside me, Mus Almos, the pun man. He's had lots of punny situations this evening already. And Roz Mack, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all good.
I have this habit of introducing you both and then asking you specifically how you are, Roz.
I'm still good, mate. I'm the same as I was about half an hour ago.
Cool.
I've
I'm
just
glad
about
you're right.
recovered from Chimponda and Gary Mabbott.
I'm micromanaging you after the Ashley Cole comments. Right, okay. Let's get on to our Spurs and Arsenal combined 11s then. So earlier on I asked you both to give me a Spurs all-time Premier League 11 and an Arsenal all-time Premier League 11. You both shared both your teams. There's been lots of interesting debate and questions around certain selections. Now it's time to take your selections and combine them all into one 11. Okay? So we're going to take Mus's Spurs 11, Roz's Spurs 11. We're going to take Mus's Arsenal 11, Roz's Arsenal 11. Between all of those, we're going to figure out a great all-time 11 Spurs and Arsenal combined. Comprende?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah?
Good.
Okay, let's go. So first up, who's our goalkeeper going to be? State your case.
Is that a joke?
No, go for it. I mean, who are you saying? Honestly, throw it out there.
I mean, I think instinctively, David Seaman, better goalkeeper, one more playing in the Premier League than Hugo Laurice. So I think that's.
We're talking about them in a Spurs shirt or in an Arsenal shirt. We're talking about how many trophies they won in the Premier League.
Yeah. So your World Cup doesn't count, Hugo.
That's it. And also, like you said it when you started with it, much better goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Okay, so Seaman in goal. Seaman it is. Okay, I've written it down. Who's our right back then? Who did you guys put for right back? Who are the nominations?
Pascal Chimbonda.
Chimbonda is a nomination.
And I went for Kyle Walker from the Spurs side.
Okay, and then Arsenal.
We had Lee Dixon from me.
And I had Lauren.
So it's Laurent Bissanatan, Lee Dixon, Pascal Chimbonda, or Kyle Walker. Roz, who are you putting forward for this right back position?
I'm gonna get so much stick for it. Kyle Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
Mus. Is he right?
It's great because he can't pick Kyle Walker because he picked Pascal Chimbonda as his Spurs.
He can agree with you that Walker's the best out of the four if he wants.
Yeah, this is weird because although having, overlooked Walker, in favour of Chimbonda, I now feel like if we're just talking about Premier League players in a combined team, Walker can kind of stake a claim.
As Ross said, in a Spurs shirt, in an Arsenal shirt.
In a Spurs shirt, no, I don't think. I think Chimbonda probably stands more of a claim than Walker. But no, it would have to be Lauren then.
Lauren. So you reckon Lauren?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that Kyle Walker in his Spurs days under Poch was a better right back than Lauren was as an Invincible. I don't want to I don't want to knock him too much. Don't want to knock the Invincibles at all. But if they had a weak link, it was Lauren, and Kyle Walker was the outstanding right back in the division for pretty much his whole time at Spurs. I would say, pretty much as soon as he moved from Sheffield United, he was just the best right back in the league for a very long time. I would back that up. In a Spurs shirt, Kyle Walker's a better player than Lauren on an Arsenal shirt.
Lauren?
I think this is probably one that, we may have to concede.
Are you conceding?
I think so, yeah.
Is that the royal we? Don't concede on my behalf.
Am I not? It's the royal.
One of us is going to have to make a decision when there's not agreement between
the
two. I will make a decision.
That's no fair because you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
At this juncture in the podcast, I am not an Arsenal fan.
Okay.
I am an honest, down the line, middle of the road, on the fence. So much on the fence, I've got splinters in my bum.
On this one, I'm prepared to be objective, and I'll go with Walker.
So you're putting Kyle Walker in the combined Arsenal Spurs Premier League 11 ahead of Invincible Laurent.
Yeah,
I like that this is a controversial
double winning
choice.
Dixon.
This is a controversial choice. Wait till you get to the rest of my combined 11 picks.
Right, 2 centre-backs. Lads, stop looking at his sheet, Mus. Get your own sheet. 2 centre-backs.
I reckon he already has, and that's why he's laughing.
So
Yeah.
the centre-backs, we both picked 2 centre-backs for each team, right?
Yeah.
So we need to come up with 2 centre-backs out of the following, right? Ledley King, Toby Alderweireld, Gary Mabbutt,
Tony Adams.
Martin Keown,
And
and Sol Campbell.
Yeah.
Mus,
I'm going to go.
who's your 2?
Sol Campbell, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. there's
Ros,
no argument.
you're nodding. Do you agree?
No.
No? Okay. Why are you nodding then?
No, because I thought that's what he was going to say, and I thought you were going to say definitely, because he played for both clubs.
Yeah.
Because he was an amazing defender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
your other one?
Ledley King.
Okay.
So you're saying Campbell and Ledley King ahead of Tony Adams, Mike Keown. Okay. I'm just stating
Yeah.
the facts.
Yeah.
He thinks that those two could play together.
Yeah.
Do they not do very similar roles?
I think
Well,
Ledley King.
One of them plays most games.
Fair play. No, I get that Ledley King's a bit more of a footballer. Bit more of a footballer.
Yeah.
But for me, they both do very similar jobs.
Have you picked either of them?
No.
Oh my god.
I've not picked either.
Wow.
Okay,
Those
who
two
have you gone
players.
for?
So, in terms of balance, in terms of playing together, in terms of I think this would be the most gorgeous centre-half pairing, Tony Adams and Toby Alderweireld. I have to think about it every time.
When you've learnt to say it.
When I've learnt to say it, I'll put him in my 11.
You can go in. Yeah.
No, Toby was famous for those sort of diagonal cross-hill balls with his right foot.
Yes.
Very good touch. Great passer of the ball. Tony Adams, your definitive leader, beast. Wins everything in the air.
Donkey.
Bastion. Donkey. Yes. No, those two as a centre-half pairing. Keown and Adams, okay, they did play together. But for me, again, I want 2 different things from my centre-half pairing. And for me, I just think that would be a match made in heaven.
Okay, so this is where it gets a bit tough now for me, unless you guys can stake a claim to each other on it.
I can't believe that you haven't put Tony Adams in, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Cannot believe it. He's surely Arsenal's best ever defender of all time.
Yeah.
Probably Arsenal's best ever captain of all time. A lot of that was in the Premier League.
I'm going to have to agree with.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Ross
he's
on
got
that,
a statue
on
outside.
Adams.
He's got a statue outside the Emirates.
No, that's fair enough.
Adams is going in.
Okay.
But I can't see how we leave Campbell out.
I get that, but for me, the reason is I don't think him and Tony Adams, same reason as Campbell and Ledley King, would be that good a pairing.
What about Adams and Mabbutt? I mean, just
I'll meet you halfway and I'll slide Chimbonda in. He could play centre half in fairness.
okay.
Just for the kit man,
Fine. So Tony Adams, we're all agreed.
Oh
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're not. 'Cause you
has
didn't.
to be-
Well, I'll change my mind.
It has to be Campbell.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll concede this one.
Yeah,
But
I think.
can I just say, with conceding, I'm definitely right.
But you're
Okay.
conceding.
I'm conceding because I can't be bothered. Because I know that you two, as Arsenal
first
men,
it's all
I know
Ashley
you two.
Cole's the best
No,
left back in the
I
world.
know.
Did you hear that? Did you
I
hear
know.
that?
I can't be bothered.
I'm conceding because I can't be bothered. That is exactly the ethos of a Spurs defence.
I'm definitely
Campbell.
right. That would be a match. But Adams and Ferdinand would be another one. You just think of partnerships you'd love to watch, and I think those two would be perfect. But I'm arguing with 2 Arsenal men against Sol Campbell,
Okay.
who scored a goal in the Champions League final, which is, the closest to European glory that you've ever got. So I understand how much you love Sol Campbell.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the left back. What are our options here? Then we've got Winterburn.
Yep.
We've got Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
Apologies if there's any little ones listening. Family show. Who else have we got a left back for Spurs? Who have
We've
you
got Danny Rose, and I think we both went for Danny Rose, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we did.
Yeah.
So it's Rose, Winterburn,
It's-
or Ashley Cole.
No, you've got that wrong. It's not Winterburn, it's hesitation. Lumping throat. Nigel Winterburn, yeah.
So, interestingly, so far, all 5 of our players are English. That's guaranteed. Seaman in goal, Walker, Adams, Campbell, and then our left back will be Rose, Winterburn or Cole.
All of my 5 weren't. I'm not a racist. You lot, I had a bit of diversity in there. Yeah? Belgium. you
Belgium.
Let's call the name like Brexit FC, shall we?
It's gone very Sean Dyche.
Right, who's your left back?
I think either Danny Rose or Winterburn, right?
This is so funny. This is so funny. Ashley Cole was the best left back in the world for about 6 or 7 years. The guy that took his title was Marcello, who couldn't defend for Toffee. The guy that everyone said was the best left back in the world before him, when he really wasn't, was Roberto Carlos, who could not defend. Ashley Cole was the best left back in the world, and just because he broke your little boy hearts and went on to a team that actually won trophies rather than just fought for 4th every single bloody
I'm tapping
year.
out. I'm tapping out. It's Ashley Cole. It's fine. Right, stop it. Leave us alone. Okay. Right midfielder. Let's go. Right midfielder. Who have we got then? So Ray Parlour. No one said Ray Parlour. Ridiculous.
One for Pele.
We've got Perez, Lundberg. Who else on the right? Anderton.
Yeah, well, no, that's the thing. You've got all those players on the right, but in terms of just wingers,
Aaron Lennon as well.
And in terms of Aaron Lennon as well.
We're choosing our right midfielder.
Yeah, I know.
It's a 4-4-2. We're choosing
I'm
our
going
right
to switch.
midfielder.
I'm going to switch it up, Joe.
Perez, Lundberg, Lennon or Anderton, Ros?
Gareth Bale.
Did you select him as a right midfielder?
I selected him as a winger. I don't just do these 11s. I do the tactics. I sort of think it through. I get very Football Manager with it, and in both my teams, even the swingers are the swingers. Whoa, it's a reference to earlier probably. The wingers are switching constantly.
Swingers are witching.
The swingers are witching.
Who's your right midfielder out of those 4?
Lundberg.
Okay. And you're saying Gareth Bale.
Yeah, Lundberg is not a better player than Gareth Bale.
But Gareth Bale doesn't predominantly...
We're talking in an Arsenal shirt, in a Spurs shirt.
I know we are. So let me give you a bit of a history of Gareth Bale. He started as a left back, then he went up into a left midfielder.
Yeah.
And then he gradually made his way across the pitch towards the time he left. By the time he was finishing, he was playing somewhere in between actually a right midfielder and a 10. He was pretty much given a free role. But he was playing more and more on that right-hand side and cutting on his left foot. He was picking the ball up from deep. He was just given a free role in that side. And I would say that he got most of his goals in that last season actually from the middle of the park or from the right.
But you put him on. You put him at left.
Yeah, I put him on the left, fit in. Perez. But Darren Anderton, who was more of a crosser of the ball and got more assists.
Right, so this puts us in a bit of a sticky situation because we're going to have to pick our wingers together and they're going to have to both fit in that system.
Yeah.
I've made it difficult.
So
sorry.
Well, it's your middle name.
I'm not that sorry.
Tell me then who both your right and left midfielders were for both teams, please, both of you.
So I went with Perez and Lundberg for Arsenal.
Of course you did.
And then for Spurs, I went Bale on the left and
Lennon on the right.
Yeah.
And
I went for Arsenal. I went with Thierry Henry on the left and Robert Perez on the right. I went with Gareth Bale and Darren Anderton.
Right, so you both said Perez and you both said Bale.
Yeah.
So that's our wingers.
No, it isn't.
Why not?
Because we haven't decided on the formation. And the fact is, what we're asking ourselves here is, are we playing 2 men up top? And if we are, can one of them play on the left-hand side? And the answer to that question is yes, and his name is Thierry Henry. So what you're really asking yourself is, who are the best players out of those players put forward? And the best 2 players, Gareth Bale and Thierry Henry. That's just true.
I don't know.
And Bergkamp plays more than 10 anyway, so he's going to drop off. I'm assuming, well, I won't assume anything, you put Gary Mabberton, but I'm assuming that Bergkamp's going to be there. But, okay, let me know this then. Who are you missing out? But I cannot see a way that you get Lundberg and Perez into this side without leaving out someone where it's a cardinal sin to leave them out. This is the only way that it works.
Well,
my way. It's the only right answer.
Confident in
It's
his own,
binary, mate. It's binary.
binary.
There's no discussion. There's no negotiation.
I prefer my players in their,
You
proper
think
positions.
that Ljungberg was a better player than Bale or Thierry Henry? You think that Perez was a better player than Bale or Thierry Henry?
Yeah, so I think Ljungberg's a better traditional right winger than Gareth Bale in the formation that I'm playing. So I'm not playing with
How many Champions Leagues did Freddie Ljungberg win from the right hand side?
About as many as Bale did with Spurs.
How many times was Freddie Ljungberg in the Ballon d'Or conversation?
Have you seen his Calvin Klein advert?
Yeah,
Everyone's got their strengths.
You see Freddie Ljungberg's goal return and his trophy cabinet as a Premier League player versus Gareth Bale's.
yeah, but when was he ever in a Ballon d'Or conversation? Gareth Bale was in a Ballon d'Or conversation even when he was at Spurs in his last season.
I mean,
That's why Real Madrid went after him. He was certainly probably up there with top 6-5 players in the world, and in that conversation. Was Freddie Ljungberg ever that?
I think we just need to compromise it, because I think I will have Gareth Bale in my team, but he's on the left, and then I think on the right I'm going to stick with Ljungberg.
How about Ljungberg 2001-2002 Premier League Player of the Season?
Yeah, no, I get it. You're Arsenal, you're talking about trophies. It's like what you kind of pine over. I'm talking about who's a better footballer. And if you both genuinely believe that Freddie Ljungberg in any of his... Okay, Invincible's Freddie Ljungberg, 01-02 Freddie Ljungberg, 98, was he in the... I think he joined 99, I believe. But, FA Cup semi-finalist, 99 Freddie. Any Freddie Ljungberg was better than Gareth Bale in his last season for Spurs when Real Madrid came calling. How many times did Real Madrid come calling for Freddie Ljungberg? Hey? And that was the time when, unlike Arsenal, Real Madrid were winning Champions Leagues 2003. So, be honest with me.
Roz, I think,
is Freddie Ljungberg a better player than Gareth Bale in any season?
But that's not the question. I think
is
the question we should be asking is who's better out of Anderton, Perez and Ljungberg?
No, it isn't.
You can't
because
just decide
you have to fit Thierry Henry.
decide you want to drag Bale over from the left all of a sudden just because you.
Well, because he's a better footballer and he can play both sides.
You ridiculously put Thierry Henry on the left and now have realised your mistake.
It's not a mistake. I'm sorry. When Thierry Henry, again, we're going to bring it back to trophies. It's about how many trophies you win. Let's bring it back to European trophies. How many European trophies did Thierry Henry win from a striker's position? And how many did he win playing on the left? He won a Champions League for Barcelona playing on the left.
We're going to hold it there. We're going to come back to the wingers and wide midfielder situation. I feel like I should have laid down some rules here on formations and players being played in the same position that they are in the combined 11s, but we didn't. Next time,
I'll concede Darren Anderton, but
we'll live and learn. You drive a hard bargain, Roz, but we're going to go to our centre mids and we'll come back to the rest of it, because 2 centre mids, you can all agree on that, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, why not?
The fact that there are 2 of them. I'm not expecting you to agree on the players.
Oh well,
obviously, because that would be asking for too much.
There's no discussion there.
Who are your 2 centre mids, Miss?
Yeah, it's Vieira and it's Gilberto Silva.
Oh, no. God.
Roz, who is it for you?
Dear God. Okay, it's Patrick Vieira and it's Luka Modric.
Right, Vieira's in. I've put Vieira in now.
Great, we're making progress. Oh my God. Have you ever watched a game of football? You're telling me that Freddie Ljungberg's a better player than Gareth Bale. You're telling me that Luka Modric was not as good a footballer as Gilberto Silva.
Okay.
Again, how many times was he in the Ballon d'Or conversation? How many times did Real Madrid come calling?
I'm going to have to overrule this one. It's got to be Modric. Sorry.
They play different roles. You're not comparing like with like, but I'm prepared to concede.
Patrick Vieira can do everything.
And be magnanimous on this occasion.
Patrick Vieira's everywhere.
So presumably you're going to do a 4-2-3-1, Roz, again, yeah?
Yeah.
And Miss, you're going for a 4-4-2 again?
Yeah.
Okay, so in your 4-4-2, does one of the strikers sit a bit deeper?
Yeah.
It's like playing Guess Who, isn't it?
So
are they wearing glasses?
Arbitrarily, getting late, can we call it a 4-2-3-1, the formation? Are you happy with me to do that?
Okay.
And your slightly deeper striker is going to be the number 10 in the 4-2-3-1.
Okay. I feel like we're 2 brothers that have just had a fight and we've just sincerely pissed off the parent. I've gone, right, okay, this is what's going to happen. Are you happy with that? Yeah, good.
I am annoyed dad at the moment. And you two, you're this close to being sent to your room, okay? Without pudding. Right.
Ben Foster would be gutted.
Who's your number 10?
Well, yeah, so Dennis Bergkamp.
Okay, Ros, who's your number 10?
It's Dennis Bergkamp. CB, agree now. We'll get on. We'll get on now.
Please.
Let's get on now, Dad.
High
That's
five.
some good parent.
Yeah.
That's some good parenting right there.
Solid.
Bergkamp's in there. Great. Look at that. So, you can only play one man ahead of Dennis Bergkamp. I love how you guys, you're working together, you're showing that you can really work stuff out between yourselves.
Yeah.
Who's your one man up top? I'm going to count 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to say your striker, okay?
You know what's going to happen.
Nice and loud. 3, 2, 1.
Millwall legend Harry Kane. But now we enter another conversation, don't we? Now we enter, is Harry Kane a better player than Freddie Ljungberg or Pires? Because
Right.
that's the difference. That's the difference. I put Henry out on the wing in this 4-2-3-1, and I put Harry Kane up top. The closest player to breaking, or the most likely player to break Alan Shearer's all-time Premier League goal-scoring record with 166 goals. You are
Also-
telling me that you're going to put Freddie Ljungberg or Pires in ahead of him?
Can I tell you something about Kane and Henry? Kane is 9 goals behind Henry's Premier League goal scoring record.
Yeah.
And he's got 11 games to do it. If he does it in less than 11 games, in fewer than 11 games, he's going to do it with better efficiency than Henry.
Right. But I think we should leave him out, don't you, Mus?
You Harry Kane out.
No, sorry, I don't think that, do I? Because my team makes sense. You're saying we should leave Harry Kane out.
I'm leaning towards what Ros is saying. Kane up top.
It's because it's the right
Henry-
decision.
Steady on. I maybe would have done it differently. I might have gone with a front three to shoehorn them all in somehow. But
Bale, Henry, Harry Kane, Bergkamp in
essentially,
midfield.
so it's the same kind of thing.
Same kind of thing, yeah. For me, like Bergkamp
But a
was
4-4-2, Bale and Henry, and then What do you reckon?
Well, yeah,
It's
I mean,
all
we've-
sort of pieced, it's slotted in together, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, we've shifted the goalpost, with the new formation and whatnot. So yeah, I think in this
is
new
the gracious way to admit defeat, where you go, well, the rules changed, and I was hard done by there, but
I don't know about
congratulations.
admit defeat. This team's pretty strong looking, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me give you a rundown of this
Go on.
team. In goal, David Seaman. Oh, actually, look, can I want you to say yeah if you chose this player, right? So it's going to be
Okay.
a slightly louder yeah if you both chose.
Cool.
essentially.
You're going to hear a lot of yeahs, I think, from me at least.
David Seaman,
Yeah.
Kyle Walker,
Yeah.
Tony Adams,
Yeah.
Sol Campbell,
yeah,
Ashley Cole,
Yeah.
Vieira,
Yeah.
Modric,
Yeah.
Bale,
Yeah.
Bergkamp,
Yeah.
Henry,
Yeah.
Kane.
Yeah. So I won. It's great.
Not that it was a competition. We're working together.
It
as
was a
team.
competition. And I won.
It was a competition, and I won.
There's literally one difference.
What's the one difference? I can't see that piece of
Toby.
paper.
Yeah, I didn't. I put Toby in, which would have. I still stand by that. Would have been a better defensive partnership.
No.
Defensive partnership than Sol Campbell and Tony Adams. But yeah,
Right, lads, there it is. Our combined Spurs and Arsenal 11 on this, the day after an emphatic North London derby victory by Arsenal over Spurs at the Emirates Stadium. It finished 3-1. Saka, Aubameyang, Smith Rowe with the goals, Son with a consolation. Arsenal were fantastic. Spurs were dross. They made Arsenal look good. Anyway, enough of that. We did our 11s, and that was the fun. That was the fun part. We talked and debated our best Premier League 11s for Arsenal and Spurs, and then we combined them, and that's it. That is it for this show. I can't believe it. Thank you so much, Mus, for joining us.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Ros.
last one. I didn't upset you too much, mate.
That's all right. Now I'm
It's
just going
all
to call you
good.
Dross Mac from now on.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
We'll see you next time on EPLW.